This might be it. This might be the one where I officially lose all credibility as a film discussionist, critic. I'm not a critic, and I never will identify as one. So just get off it, all right? The Dark Knight, the Dark Knigget. I can say that. All right, so. The Dark Knight, much like Spider-Man 2, is a movie that everybody thinks is fantastic. They think it's really, 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 really good. I don't. I don't think it's bad. No, that's The Dark Knight Rises. I just think that this is very okay. One of the reasons that I feel that way is because of the Joker. I know that it's taboo to say that Heath Ledger's Joker is anything short of Citizen Kane levels of good because Heath Ledger tragically passed away before the release of the film. However, you can criticize a character while admitting that the performance was stellar, and you don't even have to insult the actor. Did you know that? Did you know that that's an option? Also, I didn't feel like turning my light back on. This is the same recording session as the last couple of reviews you've probably seen, and so I just left my lights off because A, I'm talking about Batman, and B, I want to hide my shame. But, so right away, right, Joker has that whole roundabout, really weird bank robbery plan, and the whole point was so that the crew wouldn't know that he was a Joker, and then he would reveal himself as a Joker to William Fichtner, which I don't really know what the significance of that is. But he's standing on the corner, right, to be picked up. He's not wearing the mask, but then when he takes the mask off later, he's got the Joker makeup on, and they clearly didn't know that he was the Joker, so he must not have been wearing his makeup. But they would have noticed the scars, right? And then how'd the makeup get on? Was it in the mask so that he could just and then it's on? Because then why would his hair be green suddenly between taking the mask off and not having it off? That's weird, right? Like, that's weird. I've never understood that part. And I've seen this movie multiple times. The thing about the Joker in this movie, though, is while I respect the performance that was put on, I don't feel like I'm actually looking at the Joker. I feel like I'm looking at Anarchy, which is a different Batman villain. I like Anarchy as a character. He's cool. We don't have to talk about when he was on Arrow. But Anarchy could have worked for that movie for what they were trying to do. Like, everything Joker does in this movie could easily be an Anarchy move. The boat thing, the hospital thing, the Harvey Dent thing, it's just, none of it screams Joker to me, because Joker is a very complex character. Even I'm willing to admit that. He's got pieces to him. He's got layers. He's like an ogre, Like, there is an anarchist in him, but there's also a bat-obsessed, lovesick weirdo in him. He doesn't really seem so obsessed with Batman himself in this movie, but just the idea that there's this person in Gotham trying to enforce right, and he just won't let that happen because he's an agent of chaos. It doesn't feel like it's really about Batman, but it's about these colliding ideologies, which I don't really enjoy it that much. He's also supposed to be, a competent crime boss, which he doesn't seem like one in this movie, because it seems like he doesn't even want people to know who he is. And he also, he has a Killing Joke type of motive in this movie. He wants to prove that everybody can be as crazy as he is by corrupting Gotham's finest, which is Harvey Dent. He's like, if I could turn this golden boy, this DA, this soon-to-be mayor, if I could take him and turn him into a monster, then I can prove that everybody in this city is just like me. They're just one bad day away. That whole premise. But it's not executed very well. And there's also, on the topic of Two-Face, right? I have a problem with that too, because he was crazy before he got burned. And there's nothing that backs that up in this movie. There's nothing that shows that he was already unhinged. Like, the animated series did it best with the whole Big Bad Harv thing, but this movie has nothing like that. And people have tried to say that rooftop conversation with Batman and Gordon where Harvey's like, oh, you can't give in, and he's yelling, and it's like, oh, well, that's showing that he's crazy. It's like, no, that shows that he cares a lot about the city. That doesn't show that he's crazy. Like, he just goes from being, this well-adjusted guy to being a murderous psychopath. And I know, right? His face is burned and his girlfriend died, which, does anybody really care that much about Rachel Dawes? Well, Batman does. But it's just weird. And also, there's that quote later, it's like 5 dead, 2 of them cops. He kills like, what, 3 people? And I don't think any of them were cops. I don't know, this movie's weird, man. It's just funny that, like, Two-Face became so coin obsessed when he didn't really, like, use the coin much before he got burned. I will say it's interesting, though, that, because, like, obviously Joker gives Batman the opposite locations, tells him that Rachel is where Dent is and that Dent is where Rachel is. And so he goes for, my brain just booted. My brain just completely blue screened. Anyway, he goes for Rachel and sends the cops for Dent. Rachel dies. Dent gets half his face burned off. But if half your face is covered in gasoline and that catches on fire, I don't really know how they plan to put that out. He would have burned to death. I don't. It just whatever. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. One of the things I don't like about the Joker in this movie is his line, do I seem like a guy with a plan? When he very clearly has a plan. I don't think it's a very good one, but it's definitely there because he, like I said, he wants to prove that everybody in Gotham is just as bad as he is. That being said, though, I do like the way that he interacts with Batman in this movie, particularly in the interrogation scene with the "Where are they" thing. That's pretty cool. But about Batman in this movie, earlier in the movie, right, Bruce comes to the conclusion that that the GCPD can't be trusted because if they have a loved one in the hospital, then they will probably, follow through and kill Gordon to protect whoever's in the hospital. So he crashes into the transport that he's in to save him. He doesn't even trust Gotham's finest. So how come later on in the movie he's so confident in the city that he believes that a boat full of convicts won't blow up a boat full of innocent people, or vice versa, because the city just showed you that it's full of people ready to believe in good? Like, that should have been just as surprising to Bruce as it was to the Joker. That doesn't make any sense. Why did his ideology change so heavily in that one movie? It's not a character arc, it's not a character growth or journey, it's a character mutation. He just kind of became where he is. Like, that's just so weird to me. And I also don't like Lucius's role in these movies because Bruce doesn't, like, make anything for himself at all. He just doesn't seem all that smart. I know the whole bullet brick thing, but I really, like, what? Why did he even do that? Like, it doesn't, that, I didn't like that either. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It doesn't help him figure anything out. It's like, oh, the rifle shot the bullet and it hit a wall. I'm like, okay. Gosh, I don't like this movie that much. And I can already tell there's going to be a bunch of comments like, well, you clearly didn't understand it if you have these many problems with the movie. There's no way that you could have just not liked it. I don't want to deal with that, alright? I don't care. I really don't care. I also don't like that Batman straight up kills Harvey Dent later on. It's like, well, what was he supposed to do? I just saw somebody say that he didn't know that tackling him off the roof was going to kill him. Like, what? Anyway, he could have just thrown a batarang at the coin or something like that. I thought he was a ninja, I thought he was trained to be a ninja. So I don't know why any of that happened. That was just a weird sequence. And then to say that, like, oh, well, we have to pin Dent's crimes on somebody because we can't have the city knowing that, Harvey Dent got corrupted like that. Pin it on the Joker. Why do you have to pin it on Batman? Literally, why do you have to pin it on Batman? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get that. And I'm just... Oh, man. I don't even like the final confrontation. Because the fight choreography in these movies, which a lot of people have finally come to understand, the fight choreography is just so bad and stiff that it makes action sequences less enjoyable by proxy, and I don't know, man. But I mean, there's some talented people in these movies, and they always give a really solid performance. Maggie Gyllenhaal is also there. I don't hate the way that anybody did their job in this movie, except for maybe the screenwriters. I just don't like the movie, That's possible. You can praise the performance and not like the movie. I think that this movie is hard to rate. I don't personally ever plan on watching it again, but I'm not going to say it belongs in the trash. So I'm going to say that if you're not a Batman, like, aficionado, you know, like, these are well-made movies, but I don't think they're very good Batman movies, so I'm going to say that if you're not a Batman, like, if you don't know too much about Batman in the comics, then you'll probably really like this movie and think it's the best Batman movie ever made. But if you expect more out of a story like this, then it's probably not going to be that memorable to you. Except for the fact that people won't stop talking about it. That's pretty much it. Anyway, this is like the biggest Batman movie of all time, so I'm not going to ask if you've seen it. I'm just going to say, if it's your favorite Batman movie, that's fine. Just don't complain in my comments about how I'm stupid and I didn't understand it and I'm looking into scenes the wrong way. Like, I've felt this way about this movie for years, and nothing you can type out to me that I'm not going to read is going to change my mind. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I don't read long-ass comments because I have a finite amount of time on this earth, and I'm not gonna waste it reading somebody's complaints for a half hour. All right. So, like I said, whatever you think about this movie, go ahead and let me know in the comments. But if you want to fight, you can just leave. I don't feel like engaging with that. But with all that being said, I'll see you very soon in the next video.